Here are the top stories for today, October 3, 2019. President Duterte is in Sochi in Russia ahead of his bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. An IP leader from Mindanao calls for support to raise awareness on the atrocities committed by the CPP-NPA. At least 39 flights to and from the Ninoy Aquino International Airport were delayed due to a red lighting alert. And a young eco-warrior in Ilocos Norte is pushing for environmental protection through the use of eco bags.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story for today, President Rodrigo Duterte arrived in Sochi in Russia on Thursday morning ahead of his bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Jordanian King Abdullah II. Duterte just came from Moscow where he met with Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev. In Sochi, Duterte witnessed the exchange of several bilateral agreements covering political cooperation, health, science and technology, and culture. He also spoke at the Valdai conference of the Valdai Discussion Club, which is a prominent think tank in Russia. A meeting with the business sector in Moscow is scheduled on Friday, where the president is expected to promote trade and investment opportunities between the Philippines and Russia. The president's trip to Russia will be capped off with a meeting with the Filipino community on October 5. While President Duterte is in Russia, Philippine Ambassador Carlos Soreta is hoping that the Philippines and Russia will soon strike a bilateral labor agreement to provide OFWs with a visa. Soreta said that while the number of Filipinos working in Russia increases, there is no specific agreement yet pertaining to the legal visa specific for their work, such as caretakers or household service workers. Soreta said he was expecting President Duterte to raise the issue on visas in his bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Once a bilateral labor deal is signed, Filipino workers in Russia would be granted legal status. Soreta said there are currently about 10,000 Filipino workers in Russia, with 90 to 95% of that number working as nannies or household service workers. However, only very few Filipinos are legally working in Russia because there are only about 100 legal visas available for nannies and household service workers. The Department of Justice on Wednesday said it is now working to have alleged drug queen Gia Gomez Castro deported back to the country after the United States granted the Philippine government's request to have her visa canceled. The Justice Department earlier issued an immigration lookout bulletin against Castro, who had outstanding warrants for issuing bouncing checks in 2003 and 2011. Justice Undersecretary and spokesperson Mark Perete said the Bureau of Immigration is now working with U.S. immigration authorities to effect her deportation to the Philippines. Castro, who is a former chairwoman in Sampaloc, Manila, was the same drug queen being referred to by PDEA Director General Aaron Aquino, whom he said was selling at least 13.6 million pesos worth of shabu weekly in just 2 streets in Metro Manila. PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar on Wednesday called on government agencies to provide assistance to employees of Star City and the Manila Broadcasting Company after their compound in Pasay City was hit by a fire. In a statement, Andanar said that the PCOO is equally saddened by how the incident will affect the employees of the MBC and the theme park. He said he trusts that the authorities will work hard to determine the cause of the fire and call on concerned government agencies to extend any form of assistance to those affected by fire. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo also expressed grief over the incident, which he described as unfortunate news. He said the damage would take a toll not just on families, especially kids who visited the amusement park during Christmas, but also media personnel whose building was also gutted by the the blaze. The MBC management said that they are closely coordinating with authorities to determine the cause of the fire, and Star City, which was hit hard by the fire, will be closed through the Christmas season. Marikina River is declared free from ASF virus, and the Labor Department assures assistance to the families of the Filipinos who died on board a fishing vessel crushed by a collapsed bridge in Taiwan. More on this from Benj Bondok.
Marikina City Mayor Marcelino Chodolo on Wednesday declared the Marikina River as free from the African swine fever virus based on the results of laboratory tests conducted by the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Chodolo has also lifted the fishing ban in the river and assured that people behind the dumping of pig carcasses in the river would be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Meanwhile, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso on Tuesday vowed to review infrastructure projects of the national government that may affect private lot owners in the city. The leaders of the Sampaloc People's Alliance, Paco People's Alliance, Tondo People's Alliance, and Samahan ng mga Apektadong Pamilya sa Balik-Balik asked for Dumagoso's help as their homes and other private properties may be affected by the national government's NLEX-SLEX connector project. Dumagoso assured residents that they would act on their grievances and will ask University of the Philippines if they will restudy the area. In other news, the Department of Labor and Employment on Wednesday assured that assistance will be extended to the families of 2 Filipino workers who died on board a fishing vessel crushed by a collapsed bridge in Taiwan. The DOLE identified 3 fatalities as Andre Abregana Serencio, Jorge Hagmis Impan, and Romulo Ilustrísimo Escalicas Jr. 5 other Filipinos identified as Julio Esquimawa, Jason Villaruel, Alan Alcanzano, John Vicente Arroyo, and June Flores were reported injured and were brought to the hospital for immediate treatment and medical action. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondok.
Still to come, an indigenous people's leader from Mindanao called for support to raise awareness on the atrocities committed by the CPP-NPA. Baguio and Bulacan held activities to show the public that it is safe to eat pork products. These and more when we return.
Lalo na yung mga elders namin na hindi sasapi sa kanila. Alam niyo ba, yung mga elders namin, 1,000 plus na pinatay nila. Kaya, naisipan namin na ilang years na kaming nanahimik, 15 taon na kaming nanahimik, walang mabuting ibigay sa mga New People's Army. Sabi nila, bagong hukbong bayan ang sagot sa kahirapan. Pero alam ba ninyo, sila ang nagbigay sa Pilipinas ng kaguluhan. Sabihin nila, sila ang sundalo sa kapos. Pero sila ang mamamatay ng tao. Pag hindi sasalin sa kanila, gagamitin nila ang mga tribo. Pagtapos hindi na magamit, papatayin na nila. Ganyan sila kaperdugo. Sorry. Alam ba ninyo, marami akong angel na pinatay nila, 4. Kaya sila ang nagbigay sa akin na sila ang nagbigay sa akin na tatayo kahit. Kasi alam mo, pag yung grupo nila, yung sinasabi mo, yung naranasan mo sa kanila, buhay ang kapalit mo. Hindi ko na napagilang kasi marami na kami mga elders, hindi lang mga elders yung pinapatay nila. Lalo na ng mga kabataan ng mga IP na sinera nila ang kinabukasan. Kung hindi man ako magsasalita, sino pa ang magsalita? Kasi takot sila. Alam pa ninyo yung mga IP, alam nila kung ano ang nangyayari sa amin sa Mindanao. Pero takot sila magsalita. Kasi papatayin sila.
Ang may tulong ko lang siguro, sana maikwento ko sa mga kilala ko. May mga kakilala rin ako mga journalist, hindi lang mga Pilipino halimbawa, na sana maisiwalat yung impormasyon na wag itigil na yung pagsuporta, yung lalong-lalo na doon sa mga counterparts ng mga NGO. Kasi yun ang buhay ng NPA, doon sila nabubuhay.
The DDS Europe Paris will continue to support the good governance for anti-terrorism. We will help to disseminate information to European sectors, even to those Filipinos here in Europe. Kailangan matigil na ang kanilang paglilinlang dito sa mga inosenteng tao.
An indigenous peoples leader from Mindanao called for support to raise awareness on the atrocities committed by the Communist Party of the Philippines' New People's Army. Bay Magdalena Iligan recounted her ordeal under the CPP-NPA in a forum in Paris, France on September 30. Iligan said she witnessed how the rebel group executed members of her family and recalled how her father told her to stay silent after their deaths. She said she would not risk her life exposing the abuses of the CPP-NPA if all she was saying were lies. Iligan's fervent wish is to take back their traditions and ancestral domain. Bay Chari Balinan also shared her struggles in the hands of the CPP-NPA as she appealed to international groups to back them in their campaign against communist insurgency. For his part, Datu Nestor Apas of the Langilan Manobo tribe expressed hopes that government efforts to develop their communities would not go to waste. Datu James Binayaw of the Manobo Talaandig tribe underscored that existing issues with the communist armed movement will continue so long as its fronts are supported and funded by development agencies abroad. Newly appointed AFP Chief of Staff Noel Clement urged Philippine Military Academy cadets on Tuesday to adopt the Code of Leadership, which stipulates that they will not tolerate any acts of maltreatment. In his speech during the PMA Change of Command ceremony, Clement also reminded cadets to follow the Honor Code and not be afraid to speak amid injustice. He said the mindset that stress and pressure make a snappy cadet should be cast aside, adding that being a good soldier and a leader requires more than endurance and tolerance of pain. He told cadets to measure themselves based on principled sense of justice and love of and service to the country and Filipinos. During the change of command ceremony in Fort Gregorio del Pilar, Baguio City, Rear Admiral Alan Cusi replaced Lieutenant General Ronnie Evangelista as PMA Acting Superintendent. Evangelista stepped down from his post in the wake of the alleged maltreatment death of Cadet 4th Class Darwin Dormitorio last September 18. The Land Bank of the Philippines encourages inventors to avail of the bank's loan assistance to commercialize their inventions. Land Bank Vice President Generoso David said, Land Bank has allotted more than 1 billion pesos for the Innovation and Technology Lending Program, or ITEC, a special financing window provided to support the commercial production of patented Filipino inventions. The loanable amount depends on the project, and Land Bank, together with the Department of Science and Technology, could finance up to 85% of the project cost. Inventors who have tie-ups with companies are also eligible for this loan. Since its launch in 2017, only 4 inventors have availed of the loans. Eight former New People's Army rebels received checks worth about 1 million pesos after turning in their firearms to the provincial government of Davao Oriental on Tuesday. Governor Nelson Dayanghirang personally handed over the checks at the provincial capital in Mati City. Aside from the firearms remuneration, the rebels also received benefits under the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program, or ECLIP. The Department of Labor and Employment also handed out 20,000 pesos for each surrenderer. The Army hopes that more rebels will be enticed to surrender and take advantage of the benefits being offered by the government. Meanwhile, 10 former NPA rebels in Sarangani received over 500,000 pesos worth of financial assistance under the e-clip. Governor Steve Chongbian Solon on Wednesday said 7 of the former rebels received remuneration for surrendered firearms, while 3 others got livelihood assistance. The governor said the recipients comprised the latest batch of returnees who mostly surrendered last year. Baguio City and Bulacan hosted eating and food-related events to prove that pork in their areas are still safe to eat amid the African swine flu scare. More on these and other news from the provinces from Janice Cabe.
Now on its 3rd year, the longest Longanisa Festival will be held on Sunday, October 6 as part of the Hotel and Restaurant Tourism Weekend event in Baguio City. The so-called Alabanza Longanisa will be 7.5 kilometers long, which will be held by around 1,000 people along Session Road. The Hotel and Restaurant Association of Baguio assures that the pork meat used for the longanisa is free from the African swine fever virus, which is plaguing the hog industry in various provinces. Cordillera has no reported case of ASF. In Bulacan, 7 roasted pigs were the main fare in a budol fight in Malolos on Wednesday. This was to show that pork products here are safe to eat and not affected by African swine fever. Last Saturday, a lechon budol fight was also held in Barangay Manggahan in the town of Santa Maria to assure the public of the safety of swine raised by backyard racers. Earlier, meat vendors said that prices of pork products have gone down since hogs in a yard in Barangay Pritil, Giginto were tested positive for ASF. In Nueva Ecija, owners of 43 piggery and poultry farms vowed to police their ranks and act to keep their grounds clean and free of flies that may affect the health of local residents. The Peñaranda Poultry and Piggery Association, led by Romeo Tolentino, made the commitment in a recent meeting with Mayor Joey Ramos. Ramos met with the group upon receiving complaints over fly infestation in some areas. Meanwhile, agriculture officials in Cagayan Valley are confident that the ASF would not afflict hogs in the region. This after Isabela, Quirino, and Nueva Vizcaya barred the entry of swine in their respective provinces. Cagayan and Batanes are expected to follow suit in banning the entry of swine. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
Up next, local products from Cebu have topped the list of best-selling pasalubong. And a young eco-warrior in Ilocos Norte is pushing for environmental protection through the use of eco bags. Catch these stories. We'll be back after a few reminders.
Kung sino ang nakakita doon sa mga social media na mga kabataan at tribo din namin na nagsasalita, ito ay binibrainwash nila. Yun ang sinasabi ko na, ito na yung sinasabi ko na mga professional activists sila yung nahati sa amin. Masakit na sa tribo namin na kahit walang pinag-aralan yung tatay namin, sana ang ano ko lang na hindi kami gamitin sana sa masamang ito. Akala namin na mabuti ang ginagawa sa CPP-NPA at tinuturo sa amin na gusto namin ang pangarap namin makapag-aral at makapagtapos. At magkaroon kami ng mabuting pinag-isasan. At maraming buhay sa kabataan yung sinisira nila. Ang student ng Salugpungan School, sobra 1,000. So, ang 1,000 saan ngayon? Ang tanong. Andoon sa kagubatan at naghawak ng bahay. Ang iba ay nandito ngayon sa harap para mag-aral. Ganun ang ginagawa sa CPP-NPA sa amin.
Nagpapasalamat ako na nandiyan sila. Isang malaking tawag dito, honor sa akin na makasalamuha ko sila dahil noong sa kasaysayan ng pag-aaral ko, nababasa ko lang sila sa libro. And ngayon, no, talaga napapaluhan talaga ako na, hindi ako makapaniwala na nandito pala sila at ganun yung nararanasan nila. Yung boses nila patuloy kong ibabahagi dito sa mga animal dahil isa din silang biktima ng panlilinlang.
At least 39 flights to and from the Ninoy Aquino International Airport were delayed due to a red lightning alert on Wednesday afternoon. The Manila International Airport Authority issued the red lightning alert from 2:26 p.m. to 3:22 p.m. During this period, movement for both aircraft and ramp personnel is temporarily suspended. Records from NAIA early Wednesday evening showed 23 of the delayed flights are flying domestic routes. Red lightning alert is a safety measure to prevent any untoward incident from happening when lightning may endanger passengers, personnel, and flight operations in the area. In June, a ground crew at the NAIA was hurt after a lightning struck near where he was standing. In our 4 news, the talks between North Korea and the United States will resume by the end of this week, according to a senior Pyongyang official on Tuesday. First Vice Foreign Minister Ko Son-hui reportedly said that an official-level dialogue was expected on October 4 to resume preliminary contact. Both sides will hold working-level talks a day later. Officials of the two countries will be meeting first time since February when U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean Chairman Kim Jong-un ended their summit abruptly in Vietnam without a deal. On June 30, in a 3-way gathering at the Korean Demilitarized Zone, Trump, Kim, and South Korea's President Moon Jae-in agreed to restart negotiations for the Korean denuclearization process. Pyongyang has demanded for relief and sanctions ahead of the denuclearization process. Local products from Cebu have topped the list of best-selling pasalubong at the duty-free store in Mactan, Cebu International Airport. Duty-Free Philippines said, based on the sales performance from January to August 2019, local products marked 26% share in the total sales of the international departure of MCIA Terminal 2. Meanwhile, the consistent bestsellers, liquor and skincare products ranked 2nd and 3rd respectively. Duty-Free Philippines seeks to feature more of the region's best local products in response to the growing number of foreign tourists visiting Cebu. Aside from export-quality Filipino products, the duty-free store boasts of an expanded range of merchandise which includes perfumes, cosmetics, confectionery, cigarettes, and liquors. Say no to plastic and yes to green bags. This is the message of a young eco-warrior in Ilocos Norte who is pushing for environmental protection through the use of eco bags. Teresa Montemayor has the story.
With the apparent impending threat of environmental destruction, every act to multiply waste recycling to preserve the environment can translate to a bigger inspiration for the future generation. Maurice Kim Camilion, a grade 6 student of Macayapyep Elementary School in Ilocos Norte, makes an eco bag out of old t-shirts in their community. Maurice created this project in line with the Clean As You Go project of the municipal government of Bana to reduce pollution. To minimize the amount of plastic use in school, learners like Maurice made an innovative design of an old t-shirt fastened with an old shoelace and a bottle cap, which can also be used for groceries. Teacher Ea Katrina Valenciano shares the belief that burning plastic releases poisonous chemicals that affects our ozone layer, while plastic trash harms a number of marine species. Eco bags, on the other hand, are more convenient to use and conserve the environment by harmlessly biodegrading after numerous uses. She She also said the materials are even durable enough to last for years so the learners can show off their support to save the earth anywhere they go. For Valenciano, promoting smarter waste management, reducing plastic waste, and conserving natural resources through recycling helps the community. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
Here is the latest in our community billboard. All is set for this year's staging of Buglasan Festival, the premier showcase of the history, culture, and heritage of Negros Oriental. The opening of the festival is on October 14 at the Capitol grounds. The festivities will officially open on October 14 and will run through October 27. For more information on their upcoming events, visit the Buglasan Festival website or the Buglasan Festival page on Facebook. Meanwhile, sports fans in Samar can just watch Christine Darap of Manila slug it out with Robert Awitin of Bohol on October 16 at the Calbayog City Sports Center. The bout is for the vacant World Boxing Federation Asia Pacific Super Flyweight title. For the co-main event, Adonis Singwancha Aguelo of Leyte will fight former WBC champion Eden Sanman Sonsona of Jensan for the vacant Philippine Boxing Federation lightweight title. And for some good news, senior citizens will continue to enjoy free MRT rides this week in celebration of the Elderly Filipino Week. The MRT3 management said rides for elderly people are free from 5 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. until October 7. And catch the second part of the controversial Sochi Equality Bill issue on pros and cons.
Kung may papas naman po itong LGBTQ, isa po itong privilege din para sa akin.
Okay.
Pero kasabay ng pribilehiyong ito, ay iiwasan na kami ng mas nakararaming mga Pilipino. So when this bill passed, iiwasan na kami. Iiwasan na kaming kausapin, iiwasan na kaming kutsain, iiwasan kami.
Dahil delikado na kayong masaktan ang damdamin
dahil
at magbabayad ako ng 500,000 piso.
Yes, and this Sochi bill must define as privilege.
Kasi may sinasabi sila, ay yung mga bakla pala, iiwasan ka na kasi 500,000 ang multa. No. Kapag ikaw babae, nilait ka dahil isa kang babae, 500,000 din ang multa. Kapag ikaw ay lalaki, nilait ka sa pagiging lalaki mo, 500,000 din ang multa. Remember, Sochi, every one of us has Sochi. Kapag nilait ka sa pagiging lalaki, nilait ka sa pagiging babae, nilait ka sa pagiging bakla or tomboy, that is covered by our bill.
Pros and Cons will be aired over PTV tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. You can also watch it at PNA Facebook page and website. Here's another look at today's biggest stories.
President Duterte is in Sochi in Russia ahead of his bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. An IP leader from Mindanao calls for support to raise awareness on the atrocities committed by the CPP and PA. At least 39 flights to and from the Ninoy Aquino International Airport were delayed due to a red lighting alert. And a young eco-warrior in Ilocos Norte is pushing for environmental protection through the use of eco bags.
Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am William Theo. Good day.